Christian Hernandez here from Sports Video Group. Very pleased to be joined by NESN's Josh Jun. Josh, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Great. How are you?
Doing awesome. We're here another year in Chicago.
Yeah.
Boston Red Sox currently going on.
Yes,
you guys
sir.
are also doing a lot of stuff with the Bruins, and we're talking about alternative broadcast. You guys are obviously doing stuff on the traditional side of things, but kind of a new development for fans that are watching sports on NESN.
Yeah.
Alternative broadcasts.
Yeah.
How has that been like? I guess from your side of things, from the content side. It's something that you've had to adapt to and kind of make sure that it's being populated with content and fans are still coming to watch them. So how's it been like to adapt to the altcasts?
That's a really good question. I mean, I think the interesting element of it is, I've only been in NESN for 2 years. So ultimately, I was actually kind of brought in as a change agent to try to figure out ways to engage new audiences and new platforms and interesting different combinations of things to really build the brand of NESN. Right. Gotcha. And it's not like we reinvented the wheel. We know the Manning cast has been an inspiration, kind of like how No Reservations with Anthony Bourdain changed the complexion of how travel shows were. So we really did try to figure out, though, how do you actually take something that is working in the marketplace and then adapt it to the way that you need it to work. Right. We are very blessed to have a secondary channel as well, NESN Plus.
Yeah.
So obviously we had that ESPN2 type of dynamic.
Sure.
And ultimately, it just came to the idea of, okay, well, how do we do this? How do we make it either low-no enough where we don't have to spend money to actually finance it or deficit finance it, hopefully with the momentum enough to actually sell it. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what we did. Sure. So we tapped into some of the influencer market, especially in the first season for the Red Sox. The first season for the Bruins, we kind of went more of the Manning cast route and went with the Patrice Bergerons and Tuukka Rask of the world. Both of them were really interesting. There was a ton of learnings, and realistically, that was kind of the number one goal of all of this is to learn. The good thing is, first season of Bruins, because the first season of Red Sox got sold. Right. Also won an Emmy, so that's awesome.
That helps.
And then, second season for Red Sox, we kind of shifted towards more of what worked for both in the first seasons. Mm-hmm. And now we have Alana Rizzo hosting for the Red Sox, which is great. Right. Jared Carabas, who's kind of Mr. Baseball in terms of the influencer side, and Jonathan Papelbon, who is, as everyone knows who Jonathan Papelbon is, Jonathan Papelbon. So, I think the show is continuing to evolve. And as far as hitting the targets, I think it's done a really great job of not only engaging the audience in new and exciting ways, but it's also kind of becoming standardized in a lot of ways because everybody else is doing these things as well. Right. So now it's becoming, okay, how do we do it better? And what are the focal points? Like, we know that linear is not necessarily a growth platform, especially on our secondary channel. Right. So that's not really the KPI we're trying to push. But then we are streaming a watch-along version of it where there's no gameplay and just the commentary on Twitter. And, in the last game, we got 35,000 people streaming watching that at the same time. So, those are the types of things we're trying to see, when the wind blows, what's actually rustling, and then really kind of going towards the things that are working.
Right. So, obviously, Unobstructed Views is the one that we're talking about for Red Sox and Bruins. You have the talent, you have the studio space. You're doing it multiple times in a season, right? So let's, for instance, talk about the Bruins right now. I guess, what changes between each episode, right? Because there's, obviously the game is what's driving the viewership, to show up. But how do you keep them staying along, like the conversations and playing off of each other? How does that work from a content point of view?
That's a really good question because, one of the big drivers of this thing is it can't be a structured format. Yeah. So in and of itself, you have to find ingredients that will have organic life so that when you find something that happens within the game or a part of the conversation, it kind of blossoms in a direction that you didn't really predict. Right. And that's the idea of the conversational element of it and all that type of stuff. So we don't go in purposefully trying to create a mechanic all the time. Now, sometimes you do need to do that. Right? There's going to be goals, there's going to be hits, there's going to be penalties, there's going to be, but then we'll do flashbacks. We'll do, there's a clip in later on where we surprise the guys by actually doing the goal horn and the light in the studio. Right. And they're like, what the heck was that? Yeah. So we want that natural reaction, but we also need to keep it moving because sometimes when you are 3 former professional athletes, in this scenario at least, they're looking at the game and their tendency is to break it down in here,
analyze,
but not break it down out here. So I think that's the fun part of it, and that's where the evolution continues to happen.
Sure, and you're in live sports, so something might happen. You get a new player. Those things can't be scripted. Right. So then you have to adapt, which ultimately changes the way the next episode is. So we're in late June. July's coming up. August, September, baseball season is still going on. I'm not saying, hey, what's the next dates for the next couple of ones, but
Sure.
how many more are there for Red Sox this year? And then you mentioned also the Bruins season will come back. So I'm assuming maybe not opening night, but start of the next season. What's the plan in the near term for right now?
Well, we're trying to do them pretty consistently now. I think we have about 2/3 of the season left for Red Sox.
Right.
Next one's actually next week, and it's timed towards the 1975 team's 50th anniversary against the Red Sox or the Reds. So we're gonna have Jim Rice. So we try to fall within the 10 poles of what's actually happening on the calendar as well. And then for the Bruins as well, we're going to try to expand the coverage.
Yep.
We have hopefully sponsors coming back, and we'll be able to kind of plus that up and bring in more guests, bring in some more fun surprises, and make the conversation engaging. So it's definitely not slowing down.
Sure.
If anything, we're also trying to find what is that 2.0 version of these things, and it might be a completely different show, and it might be the same show, and we just evolved it a little bit more. But that's the fun part, is that we don't really have. Sports broadcasting has been very much kind of cookie cutter in a lot of ways, right?
Right.
And that's media in general. Like, something works, and you just try to do it over and over and over again. And right now, it feels like the market moves so quickly that you have that, but you also need to kind of be one step ahead.
Right.
And I think that's the hard part right now, is now that we're kind of at marketplace standard in a way. How do we continue to kind of be the people in front of the marketplace?
Right. So whether you're a Red Sox fan, Bruins fan, or sports fan in general in New England, you guys are doing a lot. Josh, thanks for taking the time. Best of luck the rest of the way, and I appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate it.
Josh Jung here with NESN. For more interviews like this one with Josh, head over to our website at sportsvideo.org.